Saints fall short to the Los Angeles Chargers in NFL Preseason Week 1, but there's still reason to be optimistic about the future of the black and gold. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trace Girouard. Got my guy Loco Lopez on the ones and twos today. We're going to break down in full detail, give a full reaction to this loss, tell you about how the players looked, tell you about the injuries, because we have a lot to discuss here. First things first, I want to tell you about some injury news. Will Clapp, Trevor Penning, Bub Means, they all left with injuries today. Kellen Moore did not elaborate on injuries. He did not elaborate on what's going on. He did not really provide many updates. Kellen Moore is working to set up a joint practice with the Rams next week, but they have to figure out what's going on with the health first. So that's the injury news. We're going to just tell you, you have reason to be optimistic. Bub Means getting carted off is not a great sign, in my opinion. All in all, not ideal. I will say this, though. There's a lot of players who did shine. Tyler Shough looked good. Spencer Rattler looked good at times. Mason Tipton, Kendre Miller, Isaiah Stallbert. There was a lot of MVPs, in my opinion, that you could answer this question with. But I want to hear from you. Who do you think was the MVP of today's ballgame? Popular names in our live chat. It was Tyler Shough, Mason Tipton. Those were the two names that were most popular. But I want to hear from you because we're going to talk about it in this video. Tyler Shough today had a very good game. 15 of 22, 165 yards. He took over in the second quarter. Spencer Rattler was the starting quarterback. He played the first quarter, most of the second quarter. Tyler Shough takes over for the 2-minute drill in the second quarter. And he actually had a really impressive drive. Saints did not score any points up until Tyler Shough took the field. Shough marches them downfield. They kick a field goal. You get some points. You also had Tyler Shough throw a pick six. Not ideal. You would like to see him be a little bit better. It was a little bit underthrown. It was kind of a bad read in my personal opinion. But I do think the 2-minute drill was pretty impressive. He showed very good decision-making. He was very quick to make his choices. He protected the football well in that 2-minute drill, and it ended up with Blake Griffey kicking that field goal. On top of that, Eric Rodgers, the Chargers DB, had 2 interceptions today, one on Jake Haener, one on Tyler Shough. Not a great throw by Shough, but he did respond really, really well with a 54-yard deep ball to Mason Tipton for the touchdown. Absolutely beautiful. It was a really, really nice response after making a big mistake that is pretty vital. Kellen Moore has said a lot throughout the training camp process and the OTAs and minicamp that they're going to make mistakes. What he wants to see is how these players respond. Tyler Shough responds well. Spencer Rattler today, like we said, he started the game. Didn't have the best, though. 7 of 11, 53 total yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. All 3 quarterbacks were responsible for a turnover. Like we mentioned earlier, Haener and Shough threw interceptions. Spencer Rattler, they didn't convert on a 4th down inside the 5-yard line on in a 4th and goal. Would have loved to see that happen. However, Spencer Rattler was not able to punch it in. But I will say, he wasn't horrible in this game. It wasn't amazing. But the Saints offense as a whole, I thought was interesting, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not more or less confident about this offense, but I am a little bit more settled because we got to see what this offense in a very vanilla form and a very bland look, we got to see kind of what to expect. Spencer Rattler / Tyler Shough, they will get opportunities to air it out. Bear in mind, like, this was not a game where you had Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Alvin Kamara, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, Chase Young, Carl Granderson, Justin Reed. You didn't have most of your starters. Eric McCoy didn't play. Most of the offensive line was rotating all over the place to get new looks. So, although the offense only put up 13 points, although the offense was fairly stagnant, I thought that they were solid. They just need to clean up things in terms of penalties. They need to finish drives, and they need to stop making mistakes that are extremely costly, like the Jake Haener interception and the Tyler Shough pick six. We got more to discuss here. I want to talk about how the Saints defense played against this Chargers offense here in a moment, but today's show would not be made possible without the link in the comments and description down below. This hoodie, I call them hoodies. It's like a short sleeve hoodie. It was $55. I found a link to make it $33, and I made that link public for you. Click the link in the live chat. Click the link in the comments, in the description. It's blue. You're going to want to click on it. You're going to get yourself some gear on sale. Go and get swagged out today. Chargers offense versus the New Orleans Saints. I'm not going to sit here and say it was like unbelievable. A few takeaways I had around the Saints defense. First of all, I thought the rushing defense was better. Asterisk there. I thought the rushing defense was better with the asterisk of rushing quarterbacks. Trey Lance feasted you, or feasted against you. That being said, outside of that, the rushing attack wasn't super, super dangerous for the Chargers. Sure, they popped off a couple, but it's going to happen here and there. Only 100 yards through the air. Trey Lance had 7 carries for 48 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground. Like, you really want to limit these rushing quarterbacks and prevent them from causing more problems for your defense, because a lot of times, and this was not just in last season, but a lot of times over the last 2, 3, 4 years, we've seen these mobile quarterbacks just dust up. I mean, Tyson Bagent a couple years ago, I remember him having a really good game as a rusher against the Saints defense. Like, what was that about? And it's frustrating to see you fire Dennis Allen, you get a new defense in here, the rushing quarterback is still a massive piece of kryptonite. Other massive piece of kryptonite is the penalties. God bless it. That needs to not be a problem. I'm going to give some credit, and I'm going to extend some grace. It's the preseason. It's the very first game. You got a lot of jitters. This is the time to get that stuff worked out and make it a non-issue. But when you are responsible for 7 penalties for 56 yards, that's disgraceful, and that needs to improve. That cannot be the case here, because penalties will continue to limit this football team. You do not have a good enough roster to consistently be clawing your way from behind. So you need to prevent these from happening ahead of time. You need to limit the stupid penalties. You need to limit the pre-snap nonsense. You need to limit the post-snap nonsense. You need to play clean football. Kellen Moore, my challenge to you is get this team rolling, get this team playing clean football at a high level, and make this roster maximized. Understanding there will be problems. Understanding this is not a team that's going to win the Super Bowl. Understanding you are building something for the future. If anyone's upset, if anyone's mad, if anyone's frustrated with how this team's looking, probably we're also calling for a rebuild about 6 months ago. This is a rebuild. This is what it gets. It's not that fun. Rebuilding is a tough thing to do, but if it's done right, everyone can be happy. Fans, players, coaches, owners, general managers, everyone. And if you can get things clean, you can get things worked out, and you can get your starters on the field and keep them healthy, because the depth, especially on the offensive line, was atrocious. I was not happy about the offensive line depth. Did not play well. Lots of penalties, lots of pressures, lots of sacks given up. Just not ideal. But you do have something to look forward to, because Tyler Shough looked good. The defense overall, Brandon Staley's scheme, I liked it. I thought that they were playing at a very high level, playing with a lot of energy. Just clean up some things, make it a little bit more efficient, and I truly do believe that you got something brewing here. Got a lot of work to do, but I do think we're headed in the right direction. What are your impressions of Kellen Moore's first game as the head coach? First impressions of Kellen Moore's team. Let me know in the comments section. Share your thoughts. I want to hear from you. Who Dat Nation? In terms of what other players popped off, Mason Tipton, 1 catch, 54 yards. Remember, Tyler Shough threw a pick 6. Responds with a 54-yard deep ball to Mason Tipton. Beautiful route by Tipton. Dusted the Chargers DBs. Gets right behind him. Shough just puts enough under it, airs it out. Beautiful pass. Mason Tipton, I would like to see him get more involvement, but not bad. 1 catch, 54 yards, 1 touchdown. You'll take it. Kendre Miller, I thought, was really, really good as a rusher. Devin Neal did not play because he was dealing with some injuries. You also saw action from Velus Jones Jr. as a rusher, not really anything crazy. Cam Akers got some run, but I would say Kendre was probably the most impressive. Again, not the full starting offensive line, not the full playbook. Understand there are things that still need to be worked out. But, again, I think we're heading in the right direction. I think that this offense will be very heavily leaning on the run, but I also don't think that they're going to shy away from letting it rip and tossing the pill around the yard. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's video. We're going to have winners and losers from today's preseason matchup coming at you here fairly soon. So I encourage you to subscribe, turn on your notifications. That way you never miss any content. We were live for 5+ hours on Saints Now by Chat Sports, over 50,000 total views. I really do appreciate y'all for hanging out and getting the preseason watch parties and watch party season underway in a big fashion. We're going to be here all preseason, all season long. Fingers crossed for a postseason run. But my name's Trace. That guy's Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden. Hit the sub button, and we'll see you next time.